Hi guys, welcome back. It's Ashley from ZZP. Here with me today, I have Steve. Steve, what are we going to be doing today?
Today we're going to continue with the 3800 stroker project. Last time we left off, we had talked about doing some custom intercooler stuff, which I have finally got back from the machine shop. It's all done. This is like a nylon composite material. Instead of using a phenolic spacer under the intercooler, we're just going to have this hybrid intercooler. If this works as planned, which it should, we will eventually have a stage 3 intercooler core to release to you guys. We are going to assemble this motor with a set of CNC heads that I've had sitting around for a while for now. Just do some basic testing real quick, see how it works with a typical set of iron heads. If everything works well on the stroker motor with these CNC iron heads, I do have a fancy new set of heads that Zoom's been working on for a couple years. They're based off our aluminum heads. They have some custom valves in them, a lot of lightweight titanium components, stuff I won't get into in this video, but those heads do flow considerably more than the original aluminum heads, so that could make some really big numbers. What we're going to start out with today is how to properly install ARP head studs in the 3800 engine, and then I'm going to show you guys how to set up a Rollmaster timing set and install a camshaft real quick, and we'll go from there. You ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right, let's go. All right, first step when doing these is to install the Teflon tape. A lot of people use the glue style stuff. I've had that leak. These do go directly into a coolant jacket. They will leak antifreeze, and you're going to be taking them out and redoing it. Yep. So we just take a little bit of Teflon tape, you set it on top of the threads, and then tighten the screw. You just put 4 or 5 wraps around there, get a nice solid sealing surface on there. Get a few wraps, just kind of give it a little grip, and there you go. Now you set it on and tighten the screw so that when you put it in the block, it doesn't unwrap everything that you've just done. So if you want to go ahead and give some of those a go,
yeah,
and then we can go ahead with installing them in the block. We got our 3/16 Allen wrench, and we're going to go ahead and take these studs and put them in the engine. All right. We got them all sealed up, so we have 4 short ones, yep, and 4 long ones. Yep. As you can see, I already put this head on. There's the longer studs that go inside the head and the shorter ones that go down here just on the bottom side. Okay. So we're going to take the short ones and stick them down in here. These you just kind of put in until they stop, go a little bit past snug with them. They don't need to be cranked down anything crazy. Just make sure they're seated all the way down. That's really all they need, is just a little bit past snug. So we're going to put the 4 short ones down here, okay, 4 long ones up here, okay, and then we'll get the head on. So there you go. While she's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about cylinder quench. What we've done with this engine here is we have zero decked the block. These pistons are perfectly flush with the top of the block. The factory pistons do stick out about 20 thousandths. Now what we're going to do by zero decking this is, bring that piston down so it's flush with the top of the hole. Now to compensate for that, we do need to make the head gaskets thinner to get to the optimal quench, which I've found to be about 30 thousandths. So what I'm going to do, I have a set of ZZP multi-layer steel head gaskets here. They are multi-layer, they're riveted together. I'm going to remove these rivets, and I'm going to take, I believe, 2 layers out. I have to redo my measurements. We'll take those 2 layers out, rivet these back together, spray them down with copper seal, make sure that they're really good and coated, and then we'll just install that. That's going to bring the quench back down to about 30. The quench is going to be the distance from the flat top of the piston to the flat on the cylinder head, which I'll show you here. Grab this aluminum one. It's going to be right here, this flat spot right here. So we want 30 thousandths from here to the top of that piston, and you achieve that with the head gasket. So that'll be next when we put the aluminum heads on. For now, we're just using some Felpro head gaskets to get some mileage on this thing, make sure it's going to work well, make sure it makes good power, and we'll go from there.
Steve, we tightened down the head studs. What's next?
Next, we're going to install the head and torque these studs to spec. We're just going to use these cheapy Felpro head gaskets for now, just get the engine up and running, make sure everything goes well. So what you want to do, basically take a gasket, make sure it's all clean, should be just out of the package. Make sure everything's clean here, you don't want any contamination or anything like that. You just set the gasket on there. It does have top stamped into the gasket, it says left and right on them, they're pretty hard to mess up, just pay attention. Get the gasket on there, get your cylinder head here, line up your holes. Just carefully set it down. Make sure you don't bash your gasket all up. Next, we are going to take a little bit of assembly lube that I've got here that I borrowed from one of the mechanics, and we're going to make sure that all of these head studs have a little bit of goop on them, and where you put the washers on, you want to make sure there's some lube there. Just helps you get an accurate torque reading. So just kind of go through and take this little thing. There we go. Just put a little dab on each one. You put the washer down, it'll push it down on there. Nothing crazy.
So does that help seal the washer, make sure there's no...
Yeah, what happens if you don't
airtight?
do that, when you put the washer, or when you put the nut on over the washer, they kind of bind together because they're both kind of just naturally sticky, they're metal. So this lube will give it a nice smooth surface when you torque it down to make sure there's no jerking or anything like that with the torque wrench. It will just give you a good, accurate torque reading.
All right.
You want to make sure everything's accurate here. Make sure it's even all the way across so you don't blow the head gasket or something like that. That's a good practice. Never lube up this stuff enough when you're putting it together. It'll all wash down with oil. So go ahead and give you these washers. If you want to go ahead and set those on, all of those studs that we just did, I'll grab these nuts, get some tools ready, and get ready for the next step. Washers are on. Got the nuts. So we're just going to take these. These are going to be torqued in 3 steps total in the end. You want to be about 80 to 85 foot-pounds. They call 80 on the paper. I go 85. It's a little bit extra. It's not too bad. So what we're going to do is just take the nut. I usually get them all started and just kind of put them down snug, hand tight with a hand ratchet. Don't crank them down. Just get them on there and just give it a little snug, just enough to hold everything on there. Next, we're going to torque this head down. The spec is 85. They want you to do 3 steps. So first step I'm going to do is 30. You always want to go in a crisscross pattern. Just kind of start in the center and work your way around kind of in a spiral. I always count.
A wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like tightening a wheel down.
Okay.
I always count out loud just to know that I've gotten to all 8 studs. So I'm going to start here. Okay, so we got these all torqued down to 30. I've set the torque wrench to 60 for round 2.
Round 2.
And you're good. Cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the final torque on this. Bring it right up to 85. I'm going to go through, do that last cycle, wait a few minutes, and then I'll go through and double check it again, just make sure the gasket's compressed and settled and everything. I always double check them. It's just a good habit. So we'll go ahead and get this torqued down to the final spec, and then I'll show you how to put a cam in.
All right, Steve, what are we doing now?
We're gonna put the cam in now. This is the messy part. This has already got most of the lube on it, so I'm just gonna put a little bit extra on the bearing surfaces. Maybe. There we go. Just kind of spread this around. Just get a little bit extra assembly lube on there so you don't mar up the bearings when you install it. Now, what I usually do is take the bolt, put it in there a little bit, just kind of gives you a handle, something to hang on to. So if you want to go ahead and take this, careful, it's slippery.
Yeah.
Now, when you put it in here, when this journal of the cam passes through this first bearing, the whole thing is going to want to drop down. So just be ready to kind of hang on to it and catch it. If these lobes catch the cam bearings, you can scratch them up and you're going to have all sorts of problems. So there's 4 bearings in here. I don't have the rear plate on, so I can kind of help guide it once I can reach it. So just take your time and just guide it on through. You're going to want to put the cam thrust plate on. This goes on the front of the block and stops the cam from walking itself out and driving the timing gear into your front cover, which would then break your motor. You don't want to do that. So make sure everything's clean. You know, this should all be clean already, so we're good. I'm just going to wipe it off. Now, I do put a little bit of red Loctite on these bolts just to make sure. If they do back off and that plate comes loose, you're going to have a big, nasty mess. And you really don't want to play that game, so you just put a little bit of red Loctite on there. Take that. Take that. Here, give you that plate. I'll hold this one, grab the torque wrench, and go ahead and torque her down. This is going to be 132 inch-pounds of torque on that.
Now, does it matter which side goes on which?
Yeah, if you look on here, you will see that there's a counterboard side,
yes,
which does match the screw. So
that would make sense.
Yep. Other than that, it's symmetrical the other way, so just kind of set it on there. All right, I've got these snugged up now by hand. I've got the torque wrench, 132 inch-pounds, a little bit of Loctite on the bolts. Just get on there, and that's it. They're not super duper tight. They just need to make sure the cam doesn't walk out of the front of the block, and that's it. Now, I've removed this magnet for the cam sensor off the factory timing set. Do not forget this. Anybody at home that's doing this, you cannot forget this magnet. Your car most likely will not start. We're using the Rollmaster double timing set. On the back, there's one counterboard hole. That is going to be the hole that this magnet goes in. You take it from the back, you just push it through, make sure it stays in there, flip it over, make sure those little metal tabs are bent out, give it a couple taps. It's not going nowhere. This timing set has one dot on it right here.
Yep.
If you go over here and look on the engine, on this one, it's really kind of hard to see, but this top tooth right here has a 0 right on it. So what we're going to do is line this tooth that has the dot on it with that tooth that has the 0 on it, and that'll be all in time and ready to go. Make sure your keyway is in the cam, and that's it, really. So I've already put this engine at top dead center with the #1 piston all the way flat up at the top. Line that kind of straight up. You might have to give it a little bit of a wiggle, but if you put that at top dead center first, it's easier to put this on. Without the rear cover on the engine, you can kind of shove the cam in a little bit and then line this all up and push it back into the timing set from the back. So we're just gonna put this on here. Yep, that's right. Just gotta spin the cam until the key lines up. Kind of line that key up, you know, ballpark there. Spin it back a little more. Just gonna give it a little wiggle and reach around the back, push the cam forward. There you go. If you look head on in the front here, you'll see that 0 dot is lined up with that 0. Then you put bolt in, torque to spec, and go do burnouts. Maybe put an intake on it first, I don't know. Maybe. Any questions?
No, I have no questions, Steve. You are a great teacher, and I appreciate everything.
Well, it's not a problem. That's what we like doing around here, is teaching everybody.
Can't wait to see the final product.
Me either. I'm really excited for this. This thing's going to sound great. We put our NIC cam in it. It's my personal favorite cam. It's what I ran in my Grand Prix back in the day. It's got a really aggressive idle. This thing's really high compression. It's going to sound sweet. This thing's going to sound pretty good. So, yeah, if you guys want to stay tuned, and next time we will put the intake on, the headers on, all that crap,
and hey,
get it in the car.
We are 49 days from race season. Just letting you know.
Just counting?
Just counting.
Just counting, okay.
Just counting.
Can't come soon enough. Hopefully we'll be there opening day, weather permitting, and
see what she can
we'll
do.
see. We'll see. Thanks, guys.